more thing before I put this on. Grease. You're going to want the grease. I already went ahead and greased it, but you're going to want to grease the spline and the marks where it shows where the bottom bracket is attached to. Well, not attached to, but where they are sitting when the spline is fully in. Grease those up. You don't really need to grease up the middle because that's just where the bushing sits. There's no real contact there with other metal and it won't affect it, but if you want to, go ahead. It just causes more dirt, traps more dirt in there. So yeah, I'll get ahead and put this on now. Okay, well the battery on my phone is almost dead, so I won't be able to be using that light, but we'll be back in the dark cages here. So I haven't really put this on yet, but I got it set up and ready to show you. If you don't know how to put on a spline drive with this tool, basically this is what you do. You set the adjustable on the bolt, and then you basically just spin your cranks, and as you spin them, if you spin them the right way, it'll tighten it. So I'm trying to do this with my feet now. Anyways, you guys get it. As you spin this, it'll pull everything in together. So let's see if I can not look as handicapped as I do right now while doing this. But that's the basic point. You just keep turning this and it'll tighten everything and compress together. Now the cranks doesn't really matter. Some people like the cranks really tight so that they don't move a lot. Some people like them loose so they can crank flip. Personally, I like it in the middle. I like them loose, but I don't want them tight. It puts restrictions on the bearings and it'll compress them too much, possibly damage it. Wear and tear after a while for sure, compared to if you don't tighten it as much. So I'll tighten this all up. And one thing I'm surprised about is if you've seen in the other video, like at the start of this video, how my crank, it was hitting against this frame right here. Well, not no longer. I fixed that up while I welded it. Hopefully my welds don't break though and snap the whole back end of the bike off while I'm in the middle of a trick. But it shouldn't be bad because the top's good, so it'll hold everything on. Anyways, I'll get to this yet again. Still working on it. And then basically all that's left is doing the wheels. Bikes are pretty simple to put together. They may look pretty difficult, but there's really only three main parts you gotta put on. The forks, the bars, and the cranks. Now, if you have the bars and the stem already attached, like I did, the cranks and the pedals and the sprocket already attached, like I did, it makes it a hell of a lot easier. That's why when I take my bike apart, I only take apart main parts. I don't take apart every little piece because they are already fixed as they are and it works. I haven't really quite yet tried putting my back wheel on. Hopefully it still fits. The dropouts look a little bent from hammering, but we'll see. It should do good. So I'll finish this up and then we'll get finished. Well, now we are this far. Cranks are on. Seat has always been on. Bars, chin forks, that with the headset and everything all attached. What's left? Wheels and chain. And I have a master link for my chain, so it'll be a lot easier to put on. You won't need a chain breaker. I've snapped so many chains before and had to fix them without a chain breaker because my chain breaker broke. But, okay, I'm gonna start by putting on the front wheel. Yeah, I'll put on the front wheel and then I can work on getting everything all lined up in the front. So quickly decide what side do you grind on, right or left? Me, I know I don't grind on the same side as the sprocket, so it goes on this way. And this will be a little tricky to set up. So it's sitting on there. It's not even pushed in or anything because I gotta loosen bolts off a little bit. But yeah, putting on a front tire, you should know how to do. You tighten 2 bolts. That's it. Honestly, if you need me to go into any further explanation, give up on biking. One thing about my front end is, due to all my grinds and stuff, it has damaged the whole axle. It doesn't spin freely on both sides. There's been multiple bolts stripped. So when I do this, I basically get over top of the bike and I lay on my tire. put the socket on this side and an adjustable on this side, and I'll tighten it until one side's snug, and tighten the other side till the other side's snug. And then I'll put all my weight on the wheel and slowly push down on the one side and pull up on the other, and then switch. So I'm pushing down on the other side and pulling up on this side. That way it balances things out, because if I don't do that, one side always lifts up. I don't get it. I need to get new rims, I know, but just one thing I have to do about my bike, and if you have trouble with yours, put your weight on your tire. It won't lift up unless you're really light. But basically, back tire is left, and then we'll get into the truing, a quick truing lesson, and then your bike is already put together, believe it or not. Woo! Didn't take long at all. Actually it did, but I'm taking my time. Now that I have my back wheel sitting on, I didn't completely tighten it because I still need to put on the chain. And when I put the chain on, I need to tighten it. So basically for the chain, you're just going to want to take it and get your 2 links that are empty, and take the master link. Set it through one side, like so, hold on. Set it through the one side, take the other one, set it through the other side, but this is when your bike, it's already on your bike. Then you get the cover plate here, set the cover plate on, and then you take your locking pin, set the locking pin on like this, and I don't see what's too difficult about this. You take an Allen key or something solid, and you set it, and you just push it, and it'll click in. You don't need pliers, you don't need nothing fancy. You sure as hell can't use your bare hands. Well, you can if you have nails, but I wouldn't recommend it. Probably cut yourself. I've cut myself on chains because the locking pin is thin, and it'll dig into your skin. Thin in skin. So basically you do that while it's on the bike. You're going to want to wrap it around the sprocket and make sure it goes under the bottom frame. Not under this, the top at all, just the bottom. So it wraps around the cassette. And then so it goes back up, and you're going to want to keep it near the top here, and that's where you close it off. I can't video it because I don't have a tripod with the stand, so I can't continuously have a film on. I have to do it by hand here. And I only have one hand right now, so 92 for this job. So I'll get back to you when I put it on. Alright, chain is now on. As you can see, master link is put in. And last, you're going to want to tighten the chain. And in order to do that, my favorite method, just grab an adjustable or something you can use as leverage. Stick it at the end of the tire and where the dropouts are. And basically you just push up on it, and you can turn it, go one way or the other to adjust how the tire sits. And you're going to want to sit in the middle. So just adjust it to however you need. So the tire sitting in the middle. Get your socket and just start tightening it. You don't want to tighten it too much on one side, otherwise it'll pull it over to that side. So you're going to want to evenly do it, make sure one side's snug, and then tighten the other side so it's snug. And then really get one good crank on one side, one good crank on the other, and just keep going until you can't get it no more. I like my back tires really tight. I don't like my tires being loose at all. I tighten them right down, because you know what? It's life or death right there. You know, you're flying through the air and your front tire comes off. Well, how good is that going to be when you're landing? Or you're just flying down the road and your back tire falls off. Your back end is going to be scratching on the ground, and it's going to completely pull you to a stop. You're going to flip over your bars because your whole body will be in the motion of going 30 kilometers an hour, and then your bike suddenly just goes to 10 kilometers an hour to 0 kilometers an hour. Well, your body's still going to want to go in that 30, so where else do you go? You keep going straight. That bike stopped, and it's not going to be pretty. It's happened to me before. Trust me, you don't want that to happen. So I'll tighten this up just the same way I did. You put the leverage in there, put it up, and then adjust which ways you want it. And then that's pretty much it for your bike. I'll do a quick lesson on truing, and then we'll be done. One quick thing, people be concerned about chain tension and how tight you want it. Right now my chain is really tight, but I keep it tight because as soon as I start to pedal, it's going to loosen anyways. It'll stretch, and wear and tear will just bring it back in. And as you can see, I don't have my tires slammed. Well, actually you can't really see because there's no light, because my battery's almost dead. Sorry about that. But basically, what I like to do is have a tension test. As long as I can move the chain up and down and spin this freewheel, and it doesn't have much resistance, it's good. Right now, these aren't spinning so much. It is a little tight, I know that, but it'll be better in a little bit after I take a couple pedals. The back end will be brought in a little bit. Nothing else really to say. You don't want it too loose, and some people have a bent sprocket. Bent sprocket makes it tight spots and loose spots, and it can get it to creak. Like if you ever pedal, and as you're pedaling down, sometimes you'll hear the squeak. You don't want that. It means your sprocket's bent and there's not enough grease on it, so the metal just stretches and squeaks. To fix it, really just find where that tight spot is and tighten your chain to that spot. You don't want to tighten your chain to the loose spot, because when it comes to that tight spot, it can snap your chain. So my battery's almost dead. We'll do the truing like really quick. I won't true it, but I'll just tell you something, and you can. So basically, I like to keep it on my bike because I don't have a truing stand. But as you spin it, you'll be able to tell the wobble. And what I like to do is hold my thumb close to it and keep it on the frame, so it's a nice steady support. And I slowly bring it in until I feel that the rim hits my thumb. And when I feel that, that means that's a high spot, and you need it to go in to neutralize it. So you just tighten the opposite side, and it works. But you don't want to tighten it, just say this is the loose spot right in here. You don't want to just tighten this one spoke. You're going to want to loosen these spokes off a little bit, so you can tighten these ones to pull it in. And as you loosen off the one side, it may bring the warp out, but when you tighten the other side, it pulls it back in. So as long as you have tight spokes and they're all nice and even all the way around, truing should be easy. Can't explain much about this. For me, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you want the wobble to go to the other side to be even, tighten the other side. That's about it. Alright guys, so that is how to put your bike together in a long video, a couple tips. Might not be the best, but it is